Welcome to the Basics for Virtual Assistants podcast, your go-to destination for all things virtual assistant. I'm your host, Pol, and just 4 short years ago, I took that leap into the world of virtual assistants, and I've never looked back. Now it's my turn to help you take the same exciting path. Are you wanting to become a VA but no idea where to start, lost with how to price yourself or set yourself up for success? Well, look no further. As we explore this world together, I'll be sharing my experiences, insights, and all the valuable lessons I've learned along the way. So, get ready to explore the world of virtual assistants, uncover its limitless potential, and let me guide you on the path to becoming a successful virtual assistant. Your transformation into a skilled VA starts right here, right now. Welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. This week we are talking all about working out your services and offers for clients. But before we dive into today's episode, I want to let you know I have a free guide. It walks you through the 5 things that you need to set up as a new virtual assistant, and I will pop the link in the description. Now, on to today's topic. When you first start out as a VA, it can be a little confusing trying to work out what you're going to offer to clients. There's so much information out there about the types of services you can offer, and it can be really hard to sift through all of this information and figure out a really easy and straightforward way to figure this out. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how I figured out what services I wanted to offer to my clients. And the very first thing I did was research. Now, I want you to take some time to go on Pinterest, to go on Google, to go on TikTok and Instagram and anywhere else that you like to research stuff and search virtual assistant services. And you will find list after list after list of the type of services you can offer. So take some time, have a look at them, and jot down on a piece of paper the services that interest you. You might already have an idea in your head of the types of services you might want to offer. This is really great. Just jot them down, make a little list of all the types of services you can offer. And while you're researching what you can offer, I want you to also take some time, once you've made your little list, to research what each of these services actually is and what you need to be doing and what type of skills you need to have for each of these services. Often people will look at a service and say, oh, that sounds really interesting, but not actually have a clear idea or a clear understanding of what it actually entails to do that service. And then they offer it and then they realize, oh my gosh, I actually can't do that. So we need to have a really clear understanding of what each of these services contains, what you need to be doing, the type of work you're doing, type of skills you need to have, and make a really clear list then of the types of services that you want to be doing that you think that you can do. Now, it can be really easy to say that you can't do any of them or that you don't have the skills, but that's not true. We can always work towards those skills. So the second thing that I want you to do is write a second list of all the skills that you already have. Now, I don't just mean formal trainings or learnings. They are important too. If you have any certificates, you've done any courses, you have any qualifications, they're all great to jot down. But I'm also talking about the skills that you've learned during life, whether that be in a previous job, whether that be in school, university or college, or from a hobby. These are all still skills. And I am such a big believer that not all of our skills for work have to come from formal training. When I first started out as a VA, I had worked in a reception for a real estate agent. And so all of my skills that I had were admin based, but not specifically to my ideal client. And I was also a teacher for a while. And so my ideal client is a teacher-owned business. And so I took those 2 skills from 2 different positions and combined them together. And then I learnt while I was working. And there are lots of skills that you will learn along the way that you won't know. So just write down a list of the skills that you do currently have. Then I want you to take the 2 lists, put them together and see which ones match up. What skills do you already have that match up with services you want to offer? It might be that you want to be a YouTube virtual assistant. And so you have video editing skills and you have keyword research skills and you have title writing skills. But then you would put those together and you would say, okay, well, that's a service I can offer pretty easily without too much learning up front. And I want you to go through your whole list, same thing. Come up with a bunch of services that meet your skills that you already have. Now, another really good idea is to look at the services you're offering and consider whether one client or one type of client would want all of these services. For example, if you have Pinterest and you have YouTube editing and you have social media skills, then someone who has YouTube or has a YouTube channel is probably going to want to have YouTube and is probably going to want to have Pinterest and social media skills. If you have YouTube and podcast editing skills, then they're probably not going to fit together as well as the other three would. So that is something also to take into consideration. If your services can be packaged together and offered to a specific type of client. Now, if you don't know who your ideal client is, you should definitely jump back to episode 2 and listen to that episode. It is so important to understand who your ideal client is and what type of services they are going to want. So it is worth jumping back and listening to episode 2. But once you have your list of skills and services and you've matched them up and you can see now that you have a clear list of what type of services you can offer straight away without having to learn new skills, without having to do too much work, then these would be the skills that I would start with. Now, it is really important to not overthink this. You will not be stuck doing the same services for the rest of your VA career unless that is what you want to do. It is so easy to take your original services, work with them, and then spend time learning new skills for new services. And as you develop those skills, you can begin offering them to original clients and then offering them to newer clients. Being a VA is so fluid and flexible. You don't have to be stuck in any one position. And so it can be really easy in the beginning to get stuck in this mindset of like, oh my gosh, I have to offer these services and they're the only services I'll ever offer. And I'm telling you now, there are so many services I offered in the beginning that I do not offer now because I realized I did not enjoy them. I did not want to do them anymore. I didn't love them. And so it is very easy to change as a virtual assistant and not be stuck. So take the time, make your list, combine them, work out what you can offer right now and what you want to be offering later, and then start working towards that. And that brings us to the end of another episode. I hope you've enjoyed diving into the fundamentals of the virtual assistant world with me today. If you found value in our discussion and want to connect further, remember you can join our community on Facebook. Just search the Basics of Virtual Assistants and we can continue the conversation there. For more behind the scenes content, tips and updates, you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok. Follow me at the Basics for VAs podcast for bite-sized insight and a glimpse into the VA world. I'm thrilled you tuned in, and if you have any questions or specific topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, feel free to drop a message. Your feedback is invaluable. Until next time, keep thriving in your virtual assistant realm, and I'll catch you in the next episode.